I started at Seren in 1991. I was an assistant on Poetry Wales magazine. Took over as poetry editor around 1993. Wanted to work for Seren, did some research from afar, knew that I was moving to Cardiff from the United States. I'm originally from California, and I did graduate work at Columbia University in New York.
Before I was mortal, I was haloed in feathers, a trinity of familiars whose birdsong was legend, serenading the dead from their dreams, lullabying the living to torpor.
How do I choose the poets? Do I choose the poets or do the poets choose me? I'm probably at the stage where the poets choose me because of my reputation, because of Seren's reputation for excellence.
For the sake of this world and him, I swallowed my companions, let them nest in my belly and take turns in my throat.
I take all sorts of manuscripts. I take anyone who wants to send me a manuscript. I tend not to do digital manuscripts. It cuts down on all the inflow of manuscripts.
The sparrow became my repartee, my grappling chatter that flutters away the dead air.
How do I choose a poet? Something has to happen when I sit down and read that poem. It has to grab me. It has to. I always say I would like my desk to catch on fire.
The mockingbird staked claim as my mimicking tongue, parodying the world as it heard it, to be droll, to belong. And the thrush was poetry, my child song, my verse voice, the brittle thread to my blueprint life.
I just want it to be wonderful and original. I don't want to have read it before, but I want it to show that the person has read, that they know the history of literature, they know the history of poetry, they've read the great poets.
For the sake of my now world and him, I crowded my belly with children, each deafened in utero by the never-ending twittering. My birds heckled my unformed sons for mirroring the man that caged them within this ungenerous flesh.
Usually you can tell pretty quickly whether someone's read, because they'll be different. They'll avoid the cliches of the art.
My unborn tried walling their ears, even taking their leave before they were finished. My pets pecked and fought over what remained.
In the past, we've had people like John Haynes, who won the Costa Prize in 2006. He was up against Seamus Heaney and won that year. And that was a really unusual manuscript to take because he was a 72-year-old linguistics professor, and he had published all his individual poems in magazines, but he hadn't published a collection of them. And they were in terza rima, which is a classical form. And I remember looking at this manuscript thinking, oh, this manuscript is absolutely beautiful. It's about his time teaching in Africa. Thinking, oh, I have to do this manuscript. I don't care if the audience might be like for a cricket match, a rural cricket match, like one man and a dog might buy this book. But it's just so gorgeous that I have to do it. And that is my privilege, and that I get to see something as art, first of all.
But now that a girl is unfurling, the facsimile of me, they're familiar. They coo and brood over her, sing her to flower, while laying eggs of their own under her unspeakable tongue.
If it's art, people will find it, and they'll want to read it, and they'll want to go after it, and they'll want to look at it. It's that kind of simple thing. And the kind of stuff that I'm looking at, the kind of level of things that I'm looking at, I don't think about tomorrow either. I think about 100 years from now. 100 years from now, will this represent our time? Will this be the representative voice of our time? I do think about things like that, very seriously long term. Not everybody does, I think. That might be one difference with Seren, that it's always about quality. It's always got to be about quality. And I think I sort of get this from the founders, Carrie Archard and also Mick Felton. They're always about a certain standard. That's a very essential thing about Seren, because we're about good literature and good writing, and writing from Wales. It's all about excellence.